under the soft glow of the city's midnight lights. A single sentence changed everything. She never told the billionaire about their daughter until... It was the kind of secret that didn't just hide in the shadows. It breathed there. Eva Hale had built her entire life around silence. Silence kept her safe. Silence kept her daughter alive. Silence was the only way to escape the man whose world was made of power, influence, and a name so heavy it could crush continents. Alexander Knight. 5 years ago, they had been nothing more than two strangers who collided in the wrong moment but felt too right to walk away. Their chemistry was instant, dangerous, and magnetic in a way that even time couldn't erase. But one night that started with passion and ended with betrayal, forced her to disappear without a trace. And she left carrying more than heartbreak. She left carrying a heartbeat. Now, 5 years later, Eva was no longer the timid art student he once knew. She was a mother, fierce, protective, determined. Her entire world revolved around a little girl who stood just 3 feet tall and held Alexander's same storm-gray eyes. Lila Knight, the secret that could break or save them all. Eva never planned for their paths to cross again. But fate, as always, had its own wicked timing. It happened on a rainy Thursday. Eva rushing to the glass doors of St. Clair's Gallery with Lila wrapped in her arms, soaked and shivering. She had come for a job interview. They needed the money desperately, and she was willing to do anything to give her daughter the life she deserved. What she didn't know was that the gallery had a new silent investor, and he had arrived early. The moment Alexander stepped inside, the air seemed to hold its breath. His presence commanded the room effortlessly. Tailored suit, sharp jawline, eyes that could quiet a storm. But the storm inside him, that never settled. Not after she left. Not after she vanished. He didn't see her at first. But Lila saw him. The little girl tugged at her mother's damp shirt. "Mama, that man looks like me." Eva froze. Slowly, too slowly, Alexander turned. His gaze swept the room with the precision of a hunter, and when it landed on Eva, time cracked open. His breath caught. Her heart stopped. 1,000 memories rushed back to both of them. His promises, her tears, the night she ran, the reason she never dared to return. "Eva?" His voice broke through the silence like lightning. "You're alive." Her fingers trembled around Lila's tiny hand. She opened her mouth to speak, but no words came out. Not yet. Not now. Not like this. Then Lila peeked out from behind her mother's legs, and those storm-gray eyes, his eyes, looked right at him. Alexander froze completely, the world collapsing into a single point of realization. He didn't speak. He couldn't, not when the truth stared back at him with his own gaze, wrapped in innocence and curls. Eva felt everything crumble. She had kept the biggest secret of his life. She had kept his child from him. And now, right here, right now, there was no escaping the moment she'd feared for 5 long years. Alexander stepped forward slowly, heartbreak and betrayal tightening every line on his face. "Eva, who is the child?" Her lips trembled. She swallowed hard. And just when she parted her lips to answer, the gallery door slammed open behind them, startling everyone. A tall, dark figure walked in, dripping rain, eyes locked on Eva with an expression that sent chills racing up her spine. She whispered under her breath, "Oh no, not him, not now." Alexander turned sharply, jaw clenching. "Eva, what's going on? Who is he?" But Eva didn't answer. She pulled Lila closer, shielding her with trembling arms as if danger had finally found them, because it had. And the moment Alexander realized the fear in her eyes wasn't caused by him, something inside him shifted. Protective, possessive, dangerously focused. He stepped between Eva and the approaching man. "Eva," he said, voice low, deadly calm. "Tell me what you've gotten yourself into." Eva's eyes filled with a truth she had tried to bury for years. A truth that tied her disappearance, her silence, and her secret daughter to a danger Alexander wasn't prepared for. But she had no choice now. She whispered, voice cracking, "Alex, he's the reason I ran." And the stranger smiled, cold, knowing, unforgiving. "Hello, Eva." The tension snapped like a wire ready to strike. Alexander's jaw tightened. Lila's grip on her mother tightened, and Eva felt the past she tried to outrun finally catch up to her. She opened her mouth to continue, but her voice shook as she forced the words out. It started the night after I left you. It started the night after I left you. Eva's voice quivered. Each word dragged from a place she had buried for years. Alexander stood perfectly still, but every muscle in him was wired tight, ready to snap. The stranger took a slow step forward, water dripping from his jacket onto the polished gallery floor. His smile was too calm, too familiar in a way that made Eva's breath shorten. You disappeared, the man said softly. Do you know how long I searched for you? Alexander shifted, blocking Eva further, his tall frame forming a barrier between her and the man. Who are you? Alexander demanded, anger simmering dangerously beneath the surface. The man tilted his head. I'm someone she should have never lied to. Eva's knees weakened. Lila clung to her hand, sensing the tension, her little body trembling. Eva, Alexander said again, more firmly this time. Tell me. She inhaled shakily. His name is Vincent Ward. We met after I left New York. I didn't know who he was at the time. I thought he was helping me. Vincent chuckled. And I did, didn't I? I gave you a place to stay. I offered you protection. I offered you everything. Eva flinched. Protection? You trapped me. Controlled my life. Watched every step I took. You! Hush! Vincent interrupted, raising a finger. Don't rewrite history just because he's standing next to you. Alexander felt something dark ignite inside him. What exactly did you do to her? Vincent's eyes gleamed. That's between me and Eva. Alexander took a sharp step forward, but Eva grabbed his arm. Alex, don't. He's not just anybody. Vincent's smirk widened. Listen to her, Knight. She remembers. Lila whimpered. Eva dropped to her knees, hugging her tightly. It's okay, baby. I'm here. Mama's here. Alexander's eyes softened for the briefest moment, watching them. That little girl, his little girl, was terrified, and the man causing it stood just a few feet away. He turned to Eva, voice quieter. What does he want? Eva swallowed hard. He wants us back. Vincent stepped closer. I want what's mine. Alexander's jaw tightened. They're not yours. Vincent raised a brow. Is that so? Because last I checked, Eva was mine long before you were ever in the picture. She was never yours, Alexander snapped. Eva straightened, still holding Lila. Vincent, stop. Please. He blinked slowly, the fake calm slipping just slightly. I spent years providing for you, protecting you, and then you ran off with that child. Lila buried her face in her mother's shoulder. Alexander's eyes flickered, dangerous and cold. That child, Alexander repeated slowly. You speak one more word about her, and I swear. Or what? Vincent stepped into his space. You didn't even know she existed until 5 minutes ago. That struck deep. Alexander's nostrils flared, but he held himself together for Eva, for Lila. And now I do. Vincent clicked his tongue. Touching. Truly. But Eva knows the truth. I took care of her. I kept her safe when she was alone. She owes me. Eva stood, lifting Lila into her arms. She finally looked Vincent in the eye, her fear shaking into fury. I owe you nothing. You kept me because you needed control. You found out I was pregnant, and you wanted to claim us. You threatened me, Alex. You said if I ever tried to leave, you'd... Vincent's voice snapped loudly. Enough. People in the gallery turned, whispering. The atmosphere grew electric, suffocating. Alexander moved instinctively, shielding Eva and Lila again. You threatened her? Alexander's voice dropped to a deadly low. You stalked her? Controlled her? Vincent shrugged lightly. I did what I had to do. What you had to... Alexander stepped forward, but Eva grabbed his wrist again. Alex, please, she whispered. Not here. Not with Lila. Vincent sighed dramatically. Look, I'm not here to fight. Not today. I just came to tell you, Eva, you won't get far this time. Alexander felt his blood freeze. This time, Vincent's gaze sharpened. Oh, yes, she ran before. She ran while pregnant. Can you imagine the stress she put that baby through? And what for? To chase a fantasy. Eva's voice cracked. I ran because you hurt me. You scared me. You! Vincent spoke over her again, tone soft but threatening. Eva, sweetheart, you know what happens when you lie. Lila whimpered again, and Alexander couldn't take it anymore. He stepped so close their noses almost touched. You're done talking to her. Vincent smirked, leaning just an inch back. You think being a billionaire makes you untouchable? You have no idea who you're dealing with. Alexander's voice turned to ice. Neither do you. Guards at the gallery noticed the tension and started approaching cautiously, whispering into radios. Vincent backed away slowly, hands raised. Relax, Knight. I'm not here to take her. Not yet. Eva tightened her grip on Lila. Vincent pointed at her gently. We'll talk soon. You owe me a real explanation. Alexander stepped in front of her fully. She doesn't owe you anything. Vincent smiled one last time, but it didn't reach his eyes. We'll see. And then, just as swiftly as he had arrived, he turned and walked out the door, leaving a suffocating silence behind. The guards followed him out, eyes alert, ready in case he tried anything else. Eva's breathing was uneven, her hands shaking. Lila was crying softly into her neck. Alexander turned immediately, his expression softening in a way she hadn't seen in years. Eva, he reached out but hesitated. Are you okay? Is Lila okay? Eva nodded weakly. I didn't want you to find out like this. Alexander looked down at Lila, her small face streaked with tears. Gently, very gently, he brushed a tear from her cheek with a trembling thumb. She flinched at first, then stared at him with wide gray eyes. He exhaled shakily. Eva, she's mine. Eva closed her eyes. Yes, Alex, she is. A storm of emotions crossed his face. Hurt, betrayal, shock, awe, and something deeper. Something protective. Why didn't you tell me? His voice broke in a way she had never heard before. Eva's eyes filled. Because Vincent threatened me. He said if I ever tried to reach you, he'd make sure you never saw me again. Or the baby. I couldn't risk it, Alex. I couldn't risk Lila. Alexander ran a hand over his face, pacing. I would have protected you. I would have. You didn't know, she whispered, and he made sure you never would. Alexander stopped pacing and looked at her, really looked at her. That ends now. You're not running again. Not from him. Not from me. Eva trembled. Alex! He stepped forward, placing a steady hand on her back, guiding her and Lila away from the attention gathering in the gallery. We're leaving, he murmured. We're going somewhere safe. Where? She breathed. With me? Eva shook her head subtly. Alex, this is complicated. He met her eyes, voice low but unshakable. Then let's start untangling it. Together. Eva opened her mouth to respond, but before she could, her phone buzzed violently in her pocket. One message. No name. Just a number she hadn't seen in 5 years. Her blood froze as she read it. You can run with him tonight, if you want. But remember, I always find what's mine. Her heart nearly stopped. She looked up at Alexander, fear flooding her eyes. And he saw it instantly. He stepped closer. Eva, what is it? Her voice trembled as she handed him the phone. His expression darkened as he read the message. The possessiveness, the looming threat, the promise behind every word. He clenched the phone so hard his knuckles turned white. Eva, he whispered, he's not going to touch you, or our daughter. I swear it. But Eva's voice shook as she said, Alex, you don't understand. Vincent isn't just a man. He's connected. He's dangerous. Alexander leaned in, voice low, fierce, possessive. And so am I. Before she could answer, the gallery lights flickered once, then again, then went completely dark. Lila screamed. Eva gasped. Alexander grabbed them both, because someone had cut the power, and footsteps echoed from the entrance. The footsteps echoed closer, slow, deliberate, confident, not rushing, not hiding, as if whoever entered wanted them to hear every step. Alexander pulled Eva and Lila against him, positioning them behind one of the large marble pillars. In the pitch-black gallery, the soft glow of emergency lights slowly flickered on, casting long, eerie shadows across the artwork-lined hall. "Stay behind me," he whispered. Eva's breath trembled against his back as she tightened her grip on Lila, who buried her tiny face in her mother's shoulder, sobbing quietly. Another set of footsteps joined the first. 2, maybe 3 more. Alexander's jaw tightened. He didn't come alone. Before Eva could reply, a low voice filled the gallery. Smooth, amused, dripping with arrogance. "Alex Knight," Vincent called out. "Do you really think a blackout will save her from me? From us?" Eva flinched. Alexander's hand curled protectively around hers, squeezing gently as if to promise he wouldn't let anything happen. Vincent continued strolling through the gallery as if he owned it. "Eva, sweetheart, you really thought you could hide behind him? Behind a man who couldn't even find you for 5 years. Alexander grit his teeth, suppressing the urge to reveal their hiding spot. But then Lila's tiny whimper escaped her lips. Vincent's footsteps stopped. A slow, delighted exhale cut through the silence. There she is. Alexander's entire body went still. Eva gasped sharply, covering Lila's mouth too late. Vincent had heard them. 3 silhouettes appeared at the far end of the hallway. Vincent and 2 tall men in dark coats. Vincent raised his voice. "Come out, Eva, if you don't want this to get ugly." Alexander stepped forward, forcing himself into the open before Eva could stop him. "You want someone?" Alexander said, voice steady. "Take me." Vincent chuckled. "You? Oh, Alex, this was never about you." His gaze shifted past him, straight to Eva. She held Lila tightly, trembling, tears streaking silently down her cheeks. "Eva," Vincent murmured, "come here." Alexander blocked his view. "You're not taking her anywhere." Vincent smirked. "You had your chance to keep her. You lost it when you let her leave years ago." Alexander bristled. "She left because of you." "And she came to me because of you." Vincent snapped back. Eva stepped forward, voice shaking yet filled with something stronger than fear. "Vincent, stop. Please. You're frightening Lila." He tilted his head, eyes softening with false sympathy. "Sweetheart, I told you before, I would never hurt the child." His eyes cut to Alexander. "Not unless someone forces my hand." Alexander's fist balled. Vincent raised one finger. "You have 10 seconds to hand her to me, Eva. Then I stop asking." Eva shook her head violently. "No, never." Vincent sighed, deeply disappointed. "I was afraid you'd say that." He lifted his hand. His 2 men stepped forward. Alexander moved instantly, placing himself between them and his family. His voice dropped to a warning growl. "Touch them and I'll bury you." Vincent laughed softly. Billionaire threats. Cute. But before the men could reach them, a flood of bright, white lights flooded the gallery. Backup generators kicking in. The room illuminated instantly, catching everyone off guard. At the same moment, a loud metallic click echoed from behind Vincent. "Put your hands where I can see them." 6 armed security guards, Alexander's private team, emerged from behind the balcony railings and from both exits, guns drawn, eyes locked onto Vincent and his men. Vincent stiffened. Alexander stepped forward, eyes sharp as blades. "You really thought I wouldn't back up?" Vincent snarled, glaring. "You think your toys scare me?" "No," Alexander said calmly. "But the police outside might." Vincent's eyes flicked toward the entrance. 2 silhouettes in uniform could be seen through the glass doors. Officers, waiting. "You're done," Alexander said. "You're not taking Eva. You're not touching Lila. And you're not walking out of here as a free man." Vincent's calm facade shattered. He lunged forward, shouting, "She belongs with me." Alexander grabbed him mid-lunge, slamming him against a marble pillar with force fueled by 5 years of buried rage and heartbreak. Eva gasped, "Alex!" He didn't hurt Vincent further. He didn't need to. He whispered in Vincent's ear, voice lethal. "She was never yours." Security swarmed in, pulling Vincent and his men back. Vincent thrashed, shouting, Eva, Eva, you think he can protect you forever? I will come for her. Alexander stepped forward, glaring. If you speak her name again, I'll make sure you never speak at all. For the first time, real fear flashed in Vincent's eyes. He looked from Alexander to Eva to Lila. Then his screams turned desperate as police stepped in, cuffing him, dragging him toward the exit. Eva collapsed to her knees, sobs shaking her entire body. Lila cried softly in her arms. Alexander rushed to them, dropping to the floor, pulling both into his embrace. He's gone, he murmured. I swear, Eva, he's gone. Eva cried into his chest, clinging to him with 5 years of pain, fear, and exhaustion. I was so scared. I thought he'd take her. I won't let anyone take you, Alexander whispered fiercely. Either of you. For several minutes, the world shrank to nothing but their breathing, their tears, their shaking hands wrapped around each other. The gallery emptied slowly, officers escorting Vincent away. The danger was over, but the wounds remained. Alexander gently lifted Eva's chin, wiping her tears with trembling fingers. Why didn't you tell me sooner? Eva swallowed. Because I didn't think you'd want us. He cupped her cheek. Eva, I spent years searching for you. You were the only person I ever. He stopped himself, breath catching. Eva looked at him, eyes full of fragile hope. Alex, he exhaled, voice breaking. You're the only person I ever loved. Eva's breath trembled, and his eyes dropped to Lila, whose tiny hands curled into his shirt. She's the best thing that ever came from us. I should have known her. I should have been there. Tears spilled down Eva's cheeks. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. He shook his head quickly. No, Eva. You protected her. You gave her life. You survived for her. Don't you ever apologize for that. She pressed her forehead to his, both of them shaking. Lila tugged Alexander's sleeve gently. He looked down, eyes softening instantly. Yes, sweetheart. She sniffed. Are you my daddy? Eva froze. Alexander inhaled sharply, eyes filling with emotion so deep it rooted him in place. He nodded slowly, voice barely above a whisper. Yes, Lila, I'm your daddy. She blinked up at him. Can I hug you? His heart cracked wide open. He lifted her gently into his arms, hugging her with a tenderness that melted every broken piece inside both of them. Lila wrapped her small arms around his neck, resting her head on his shoulder. You're safe now, he whispered to her. I promise. When he finally looked back at Eva, something unspoken but powerful passed between them. A promise. A second chance. A future. He helped her stand, keeping one arm around her waist and the other supporting Lila. Come home with me, he said softly. Both of you. Eva hesitated, not from doubt, but from the weight of everything finally falling away. Then she nodded, tears slipping down her cheeks again. But this time they weren't from fear. Alexander exhaled, relief flooding him. He leaned his forehead against hers once more. It's over, he whispered. No more running. No more hiding. Eva closed her eyes, whispering, no more fear. They walked out of the gallery together. Alexander holding Lila, his other hand intertwined tightly with Eva's, as if he never intended to let go again. The night air was cool, gentle, calm, the first peaceful breath Eva had taken in years. And as the doors closed behind them, as Vincent's car pulled away in the distance with police lights flashing, as the city stretched out before them, glowing with possibilities, Alexander glanced at Eva, voice low, steady, full of certainty. Eva, whatever happens next, we face it together. You, me, and our daughter. Eva's heart finally felt safe. She smiled through her tears as she whispered, together,